So we need to...
Yeah, I can still hear you. That's good.
That's better. I can hear you a lot better now. And you can still see the picture, so that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Superb. I don't know what's gone wrong tonight, but I can see my camera's on now. I get a little blue light when it's on. So I shall leave it alone. Okay, now what I wanted to do was make that a bit smaller. And put it to one side a minute. Open up our where are we? Plus. Let's move you out of the way. And we'll open up Learner Management System. I'm just going to bring the front sheet up so that we can look at the standard and what you've put, and then we work through it that way. Is that okay?
A number, yes, of course, yeah.
Superb. Right, we're in, I think. Yeah, I've been having a bit of trouble with my internet lately, but it seems to have sorted itself out at the moment.
Yeah, because you said you had computer problems last week as well. What's the matter? She's in. Go and find her in the other room. Okay, go to her then. Do you know, no matter how you say to them, don't disturb me. My teacher's going to tell you off. Do they listen? No.
Well, I'm the threat now, am I? The big ogre, the big ogre on the screen. I like it.
But you've got a kind face, so they just don't take the threat seriously.
Oh, right, okay. I must have become much more severe. If we open this up now, I'll put the two together and then we can run down the, put that to one side. Just a second. Right, it's contact. We've got it. Put you as that side and we'll put that this side. Okay, going to there. If we look at LO1, you've got find the meanings of equality and diversity in a UK context. So literally, you've gone down the line of defining equality and diversity in the UK is a part of the human rights factors. These are defining values in society, equality and diversity in terms they use to promote equal opportunities for all by giving every individual a chance to achieve potential free from prejudice and discrimination. As part of my school setting, equality and diversity, we believe, should promote that and good relations in relation to age as appropriate to disability, faith, religion, gender and sexual orientation. We also believe that these duties are integral to meeting the 5 outcomes of Every Child Matters, the framework along with the working towards promoting community cohesion, therefore ensuring that each individual is given the best opportunities to achieve their potential. Equality and Diversity Act, that's what I was wanting to see. Now combines policies that were under separate headings such as disability, race, gender. We aim now to cater for this by providing adequate care and opportunities and for providing wheelchair users, ensuring that pregnant staff do not carry around heavy items and providing staff with qualified in reading Braille for blind students so that they can access the same opportunities as every other student. So yes, you've outlined or defined the meaning of it in the UK context and actually said how you promote that in your school as well, which is good. So I think we can actually accept that. If you a little jump now. Good. And move back to 1.2, analyse the benefits of promoting. So you're cross-referencing to Unit 1, LO 4.2, page 17, for the explanation of how we promote equal.
They didn't completely cover it for individual learners, it was just like a vague thing, so...
That's why I say that it depends on how much you've written at Unit 1. And it covered how you actually promote it in that. You don't have to, you see, but you know, some students have written sort of reamed and covered that area as well. So it is a complete cross-reference. They can use the text that they've used in that unit to fulfil the requirements of this AC.
Yeah, I felt like it was only like the odd sentence and it wasn't really enough, so I thought put some more on.
That's why I always put on, read what you've actually written first and see does it cover that AC. It may be partially covered, and it may then just need a link and a couple of paragraphs to actually tidy it up and actually meet the AC. Yeah. So because it's an analysis, you need to check that you did actually do an analysis at that point, not just like a review or something like that. Yeah, they're more likely to get involved with the learning and have access to the same opportunities as their peers. Another benefit is that learners with special educational needs are able to access learning, so by having trained and specialist staff along with them, having differentiated sessions so that they're able to achieve their potential. Yeah.
I've got a lot of achieve their potential in this.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, in SEN, that's a whole range of different things.
Yes.
Because achievement of goals are set given the circumstances of the disability.
That's true.
And it could be, if it's a purely physical disability, then those goals and potential will hardly be any different. But others with more behavioural issues will need, different goals set, obviously.
Exactly, yes.
So 1.3 is defining legislation. Literally, it's just a list and say to define it is just put a list and then outline what it is. So current code of practice elements of emotional equality and diversity include Equality Act 2010. Yeah. See, it is at the time about 10 years ago that a lot of special educational needs schools were closed.
Right.
Some of them were then transferred to other special educational needs schools which remained open, but some were assessed that they could go into mainstream education. It's not been a total success, but it's patchy. Some schools have made it a real success, and others it's been more difficult because of the maybe social aspects that have an impinge upon it as well.
See, I find that there's certain children are, there's two children who are blind. They've got full-time TAs with them constantly and a very good work schedule for them to be covered at lunchtime. But there are other students that have, say, autism or behavioural issues who are just carted around with staff. They're with this person for an hour, then they're with another person for 2 hours. I don't think that really helps them. So some bits are good, some bits are not.
It just depends on where they are on the spectrum, I suppose, really.
Exactly,
because there are huge differences between, levels, if you like,
Yes, that's true.
You're just saying that. Children's Act 2004, with an explanation. Safe schools and failure to health and remain safe. My schools, independent system, regional eating scheme in school, good. Busy week, chocolate are not allowed at school during breaks or lunchtime. And also ensure that the main school gets a locked at all time. Well, I think most schools have gone into that routine now.
Yeah, that's true.
Because literally, you don't know who's walking about.
No, that's true, yeah.
Yeah.
They've even got like internal locks now instead of so they can't even roam about in certain places.
Yeah. I don't live far from the primary school that I went to. Which is still open. The primary part of it has been refurbed and made bigger and so forth. But the junior, it's a separate building to the juniors. The juniors are a really old building, probably over 100 years old. And literally, they looked at it and went, nah, knocked it down and built a new one on the side.
Wow. Yeah.
And of course, it's a modernistic design, everything going with it and so forth. And the standards they're now producing, because of the environment that they've produced, are much better.
Yeah.
So the learning environment is important.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, breakfast clubs, activities during school holidays. What happens is, in my area, is the council run a lot of those activities in school holidays using the school grounds. And, you know...
Do we have external people coming in? They'll either... they're not necessarily always done on the school on the school grounds, but they're within the local community, so they're quite easy to get to.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is why they use that, because one thing that they built on a bit of it, but there was a huge playing field at the back.
Yeah.
And of course they use that for all sorts of activities, outside activities.
Mm.
And they went over to, I don't know if you've seen them in Manchester, but I've seen one or two. You know, like the kids' swings and roundabouts in the parks and things like that.
Yeah.
The kids to actually gym equipment.
Yeah, I've seen that in some parks. They do have gym equipment. Yeah.
They're still for playing on, but you know they actually do some work at the same time. I thought that was really good.
That's very Americanized, isn't it? Because they have that a lot in their parks, like proper, like manual running machines and things. Yeah.
Well, the parks in Wigan are actually excellent. There's one, you can't believe it's 400 metres from the centre of town, and it's a beautiful park with open spaces, you know, things for kids, playgrounds, cafe, all lovely flower beds and so forth, and an ornamental pond with a waterfall and loads of...
So they put a lot of thought and money into it as well, yeah.
It's very old.
Lovely,
It's been refurbed and made look nice, but it's all part of. They got the kids in when they were doing the clean up to help shift all the rubbish. It was good.
That's good, yeah.
You know, several schools got involved. So looking at Schools Act 2010 also states that school inspectors need to report explicitly on provisions for children with special needs. My school setting does this by holding parent meetings and by informing parents of their child's progress via school reports. And where are we? 1, 3. I didn't mark off 1, 2. I can't sign that off yet. New, that is good. And so is 1.3. Yeah. We'll go over there, come back. So, marking that again with a good. See, what I can now do at the same time with this is I can put your name in the top here. And I can just move that back a minute.
You've got that all worked out, just delete those, put those in.
Yeah. Well, it was a good document. Actually, it's an ATHE, one of our other awarding bodies. It's one of their documents originally.
Oh, right, okay.
And I looked at it and thought, hey, that's useful. And then if you actually, I can actually doctor this because it doesn't need to be that big.
Yeah.
And that can go a little bit bigger, and I can get rid of that and put. And then it's set up then, because now I can mark that, as I've looked at that already, and I can go down there. Oops, that jumped. Yeah. This is why tutorial is useful, because when we can go through, you know where you're up to as well now. So it's
exactly, that's true.
Automatic feedback as we work through. And again, the one is now achieved. I'll fill in obviously the full assessment of it when I read through it in detail, and I'll put that through. But from what I've read up to now, there are no issues there, and I think we can sign that bit off. So
thank you.
LO2 is reflects on how promotion of equality and diversity can protect learners from risk or harm. And again, you referred to LO1, 4.2 and 4.3.
Yeah, that just talks in general, but then I thought I'd add a bit more on
Well,
it as well.
Yeah, I picked this up with Ben. He'd not actually done an analysis for. Sorry, he'd not done a reflection of how promotion and equality and diversity can protect learners from harm. So he had to add some bits on to form a reflective view of it. Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Except to predict different staff members. Sites, files, start the tips, ensure that students, safety talk on the venue. Then we provided them with wetsuits, slide vests, and ensured they were used. I also carried out here the smart group of students with automatic, along with speedboats in case we came across any trouble. What Matt needs to do now is another possible paragraph as a reflection on what you've done, and why it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
what you've done is give me an explanation of sorry, you give me an example of what you've done.
Yeah.
And what you need to do is reflect on that example now and say why it works. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they will complete that one. Yeah. So I'll put on there. Okay. And the reflection, for example used, okay. And then 2 is actions that can be taken to protect or value individual learners. Yeah, it's extremely important that we follow and diversity policy at school setting. Unfortunately, sometimes process to implement the new course or action is self students can take too long. Cool. This is more than an explanation. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay.
Sorry.
And learning feel left or overwhelmed. We're extremely fond of having intervention sessions at my setting. We have all the, for example, the class students so the class content and division. If you're able to carry one into another. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Basically, it's giving a good example of how actions that can be taken to value individual learners. That's excellent. That.
You know, when you first look at the question, you're like, what would I write for that? But then things just sort of like come to you, and then you just like, I no, it could work for it.
Yeah. Well, that's why I put guidance on here because actually, you know, you can look at things 2 different ways sometimes and come up with the wrong answer.
That's true.
It's like one of the scenarios with some awarding bodies is that for specific subjects, they'll give you a scenario or they'll give you an assignment to complete that will cover the assessment criteria. And so many times I see assessors or tutors that have completely ignored it and just gone through the assessment criteria by one, made their own mind up what it was asking them to do, 2 together and made 5, and obviously had to redo some of the work. So, you know, where you've got, certainly for the assessment side of it, where you've got an awarding body that's done that for you, it makes it a lot easier if you just follow what it says. And it does.
Make sure you read the questions and read what you've written and see if it matches or...
again,
Yeah.
the things that are important on here are the assessment criteria.
Mm.
The learning objective is a goal, yeah?
Yeah.
But the individual assessment criteria must be adhered to, and that's why the command verbs are so important.
Yeah.
Reflect, explain, analyse, yeah, use. One of the things that is difficult to do is show use. What you can do is describe what you do, yeah, describe the communication strategy, but it could only be actually observed that you were using it in an observation.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's why the teaching observations can fill in gaps, where, you know, you can refer to that as well in your reference. Yeah.
Yes.
Please refer to, I don't know.
Yeah, I remember there was one LO that I'd written that was used, and you told me to make sure that I was using all the verbs in present tense. Like, I did this, it was I do this, I use this.
Not that you would use it, or could use it, or possibly use it, but you were using it, yeah.
Exactly, but you're doing it as if you're doing it right at that moment, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was asking you a specific thing.
Yes.
What you actually do. So, yeah, to generalise and say, I would do this, I would do that, doesn't have to fulfil what it's asking.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's very easy to get tripped up with things like that.
True.
Because you're focusing on getting through the unit. So, Ben's just sent me his 13, 24 and 39 in.
Yeah, he worked hard, didn't he, to get those like that. Well done to him, yeah.
He sent them in last week, actually, and I sent them all back to him. Pieces missing. So, he was going away to India, you see, today. And he was trying to get it all done before he went away. And,
yes, it's a clean slate, yeah.
Certainly 39 was very short of information. And basically, he said to me in an email afterwards, he said, I was getting tired.
Yeah.
But he sent me it all back now, and he's put it all in red script for me, so I can see what he's written.
Have a look at it. Yeah, that's good. That's why I didn't do any work last weekend, because I just needed a bit of a break. I was like, just to refresh sometimes. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I told you last week, you're running well ahead of schedule anyway. So don't bother if you've got to take a week off for a break or a rest or something like that. It's a big qualification, like I said at the start.
True. Exactly.
It's 9 whole units, and they're not straightforward units either.
They're not, yeah.
Yeah. So, again, this is why I brought the task down and put it into Unit 3 first, which then can cover a lot of sins in other units, if you like, yeah.
Because Unit 3 followed on into Unit 1 and 2, and it really helped having all that information there.
And it was only after, again, a reflective practice. What are we doing here, and which is the best way of doing this, yeah.
Exactly.
Sometimes you look back at things and you can think, hang on, no, we can do this or we can do that.
Yeah.
And it's the ability to be able to watch a recording afterwards when it's finished is good as well, because you can then say, that didn't go too well at all, or we could do something. But yeah, 2.3. Got that on. Good practice in providing individual learner information. So again, so we agree individual learners' goals through some initial and diagnostic assessments. It's also good practice, provides learners with the information required to reach the potential and achieve their very best. I like to speak to learners about what my expectations of them are, to highlight what they need to work on, and any documentation that they may need to complete and accomplish their goals in the learning journey. I also like to hear what their expectations of me are, and to adjust any learning programs accordingly to suit individual learner needs. And again, that's informed to a certain extent from your initial assessment. You'll know from those, and certainly from the diagnostic anyway, what you've got.
Exactly, yeah.
As a teacher, if you don't know what you've got a problem. If you know what you've got, then you're not sort of, something's not going to jump out of the box at you.
No, exactly.
I need to look at this, we need to do that, we need to provide that, and you can plan ahead to actually do that.
That's true.
Sure it's achieved, so that's good.
I was thinking like in like little younger children that I know that some of them are very interested in like say Marvel characters, Spider-Man, so adjusting the particular pieces of work with those characters on and that type of stuff for it.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Great. Put it back again. Come on. That's better. So 3.1 is use communication strategies. Again, page 16, we've talked about communication strategies and how we could communicate with each other within the school setting. Also used a variety of different communication strategies to promote equality and diversity with students I work with. Currently I work with a child who is largely non-verbal. I communicate through the use of simple signs like letting him know when I'm happy or sad with his behaviour, communicating the days of the week, and when I would like him to look or listen to me. I use picture timetables to let him know. Is this an autism one?
It is, yes.
Yeah, I'm just looking at what you're reading there. I've seen that before. Yeah. I also use picture timetables to tell him what he's studying next, and to speak clearly and use simple language to communicate with him due to his young age and understanding.
He's only 5 years old.
Yeah. I mean, again, these are things that you've got to do. And I say, if you know what you've got before you start, you can then make the plans to make sure that happens.
Exactly. Yes.
I mean, all the whole thing about equality and diversity is down to putting it into practice.
Yeah.
It's the implementation that matters, not the verbal wordage at the beginning, because that's as a legislation, which means you have to look at it. But how the school actually puts that information down to make sure that it's worked to.
Well, to be honest,
it's got to be a school thing.
Yeah, I wasn't actually even told that he had autism, but it's just obviously seeing him. The very first day that I was with him, I was left alone with him for, I think it was 3 hours, and it was a terrible afternoon. And he's a generally very pleasant young boy, but he couldn't explain himself to me, and I couldn't explain myself to him because I didn't know what strategies we used. So the next day, I made sure that I got hold of the paperwork, and it's been touchwood, has been good since then.
Well, it's good if the school's got support there that you can go to get the information.
Exactly. Yeah. It's that it was just rushed on time. I think that's the only reason it didn't happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, if there are the severity of the difficulty is not always easily determined, because quite often autistic children are very clever.
Yes, that's true.
And they can disseminate very easily, and you've got to be aware of that.
So he's realised that in the mornings for morning work, I actually get him to do write his name. So he came in the other day. He hid his hand in his sleeve, and he said no. He was communicating that he had no hand, so he couldn't do anything. I was like, "You're very clever, aren't you?" So I had to find his hand first, and then we did work.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's challenging, if you like, on how to proceed for best. But it's understanding how children on that scale, the things they can come up with is amazing.
Exactly.
And as they get older, they get better at it.
That is true. Yes, that is extremely true. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got a speech and language therapist on there as well.
Yes.
To help staff realise what food he likes, dislikes, so long as communicating with his parents on whether he's had a good lunch or not. Yeah, that's bad. Yeah.
I don't know exactly how it's going to work, because I was only told the other day that we're going to be doing it, but I thought to add it in just in case.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 3.2 is it's all about how it's your own professional standards in a way.
Yeah.
So that because what you do as a teacher is on view all the time.
Exactly. Yes.
By the class, and each of them will perceive you in a different way, and that can either make a relationship or break a relationship.
True. Yeah.
If you're aware of that and make sure that your own behaviour impacts well on the organisation's culture in relation to equality and diversity, or doesn't, because I've seen it. I can't actually speak today because I've not worked in schools for a long time. I have worked with schools. I used to work with a number of schools as a mentor. Locally as a volunteer. I wasn't getting paid for it. It was something I did, and it's amazing what children of sort of 11 to 14, 15 would tell me.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I mean, they viewed me as ancient, of course. But what the things they would say and tell to me that they wouldn't speak to the teacher about.
No, they won't do. That's true. Yeah.
I used to challenge them and say to them, "Why can't you speak to the teacher about it?" And they would come up with some really astute remarks.
Yes.
One of them actually said, "I couldn't tell the teacher about it. She'd just tell everybody else."
Yeah, it's a bit of a gossip. Yeah.
And I thought, that is awful. And I actually went and spoke to the teacher about it.
Yeah.
I didn't go to the head or anything like that.
No, just said that this is what the kids think. Yeah.
Just ask for a meet and just be aware, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, your own behaviour can impact greatly on the organisation's culture in relation. How you carry yourself, your attitude to all the children is absolutely important. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
You need to act as a role model in and out of school. Yes. In general terms, I would say that's true.
Just because I live a few minutes away from the school, so I end up seeing them so often.
You live close to school, Again, your dress and demeanour say an awful lot about you. It's like what I was going to say. If you've got a person come in neat and tidy and covered in tattoos.
True. Yeah.
But that actually says something about that person. Yeah. Now, a child will take that in different ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
They've seen tattoos on people who are not what they should be, if you like. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that doesn't.
It's not what they're used to seeing. Yeah.
Yeah. It teaches them actually not to be judgmental and to speak as they find, and I think that's really important. Yeah.
It is actually true.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah. The terrible dinner lady.
Do you know what I think she did? I'm very friendly with them, so I was able to speak to her in a non-aggressive way. But because I do the breakfast club, so we see each other quite a lot. I think they just didn't realise that we had so many children that had English as an additional or SEN children. So she was like, "Oh no,
They didn't understand that they wouldn't know.
Yeah, it's just that they get so many students being rude to them that they get frustrated very easily. So I can understand on their behalf as well.
And of course, they will use colloquial language as well.
Yeah.
And that is completely confusing.
Like sausage and mash. Like, what's mash? A lot of children don't know, especially from the Asian background. They don't know it's potato mashed up. So.
Yeah. Toad in the hole.
That's true. Took me a while to figure out what toad in the hole was.
Yeah. So English as an additional language makes a big difference to, again, how the kids perceive what's happening around them and the whole environment, if you like.
It's true.
Yeah. Okay, you've had a word. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I'm in that. So good. Well, up to now, we've only got 1 point to pick
Yeah.
up. Yeah. And that takes us to 3.3. You could have probably cross-referenced some of this. You mentioned some of this before.
Yeah, no, I realised it once I wrote it and then I just kept it in.
Have I said that before? Yeah, that's okay. No problem there. So we're on 4-1.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I had fun with this one because this happened just a few days ago, so it was very fresh in my mind.
Well, again, you'll see these things all the time.
Yeah.
Because half the time they're not meant. It's a particular circumstance that's caused something like this.
Yeah.
That probably won't happen again. But again, it needs to be looked at. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've done a cross-reference, or part cross-reference to 4.1, LO1, unit.
About behaviour respect. Yeah.
Promote appropriate behaviour. Yeah. Yeah, because we did that. That's right. There is a behavioural section on there. Yeah.
Yes.
Leads me to the effect that individual actions can undermine it. To talk about this, I will use an example. Yeah. Just after lunch break. Yeah. I said I would. Oh, give me a minute. Stop where I was. Yeah, I can said answer that. I'll be 5 minutes. Give them 5 minutes to help. That's, yeah. Close. To be located. Close. Right, yeah. See, sometimes school managers will just see a report and that's it.
Yeah. Because I have to be very diplomatic in this case because I didn't want to name names and start.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I had to say, well, yeah, it was, so I sort of like moved it around a little bit. I said, yeah, maybe they weren't aware of what I needed exactly. I was in a bit of a rush. So, but they knew exactly what I was asking of them, but I had to sort of like, just to keep myself on the good side and stuff. It was very political.
Yeah. Yeah, with 60 children, that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Even with 2, that's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, it is, but it's just that because they're in a very enclosed area, so.
Yeah. There is actually a number. It's still there on the statute, but nobody does anything about it, and that is 22 per head.
Oh, so we need 3 staff members, yeah. Because we do have another TA that's with the child that I support in the afternoons, or when she's off in the mornings.
Yeah.
But technically she's not there because if he needs to go somewhere, she needs to go with him.
Yeah. So that's okay. That's fulfilled the AC there, no problem.
Thank you.
With a nice example. And 4.2, recommend modifications to systems. So I'd like to recommend a few modifications to systems and structures which do not promote equality and diversity. The event as described before. Right, so you've actually done a recommendation on there to follow that.
Just followed it on, that'd be the easiest.
Okay, well that's fine then. That's good.
With 5.1, it is quite vaguely crossed over in LO5, but it doesn't really cover it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are bits of it in there. But
yeah,
again,
but not enough.
If you'd probably written twice as many words on Unit 1 on that, you'd have probably covered it.
Yeah. Yeah,
reflect all strengths in promoting employment, use different students. I believe sensitive promoting equality and diversity are very patient. I'd like to speak to kind of manner. That's just another message. Adaptable. That's fine. I believe this helps someone to give it. I mean, that's something I've worked on more or less all my life. If anybody asks me, can I do this, I've always say yes.
Get on with it, yeah.
Yeah. Not only do you gain an experience, but whatever you do always comes back to you.
Exactly.
Probably not in the way you expect, but
yeah.
Oh, so you got some unofficial feedback.
Yes.
I like it.
I was like, oh, go on. You know, praise me more. I don't mind. Yeah, no, a few years ago, when I think I was in my late 20s or something, when I was working as a TA, then I used to hate doing things that I thought this is my role and that's that. But now I just don't care. I might just get on with it, do your hours, and just come back. Yeah.
This is the point. Sometimes that when you've been asked to do something, a long time ago, I was already a qualified assessor and an IQA. And I was working in, I'm trying to think where I was working at the time. I think I was working for North Trafford College at the time. And somebody asked me, could I teach the two programs?
Yes.
And I said, well, yeah, I've got the qualification. I don't see why I can't put something together for it. Oh, well, I'll do that. So I said, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And basically, I've been delivering it ever since. That is something that went on. And then all of a sudden, I think I was back working at Wigan College then. And the head rang me up and said, you previously taught, assessing and IQA, haven't you? Well, internal verification it was then. And I said, yes, I've done that for quite a number of colleges and a couple of training providers as well. We've taken staff through the programme, And they said, oh, well, would you nip up to international? Do you know, I forget the guy's name now, but he said, did I know him? I said, well, I don't know him. I know him by sight. I don't know him by I don't actually know him. I don't know who he is. He would like a word with you. Went upstairs and we had a chat and a coffee. And I thought, he wants something here. And he wanted me to go out to Bahrain to deliver the course out there. With the training centre that they'd just. Did
you end up going?
Sorry?
Did you end up going?
Yeah. Oh, I drove
very nice.
A few times, yeah. So, well, I have done work for other colleges in the Middle East. I've been out to Qatar, the Emirates, Oman, and for one of the private colleges I worked for, I was in Libya in 2012 when they killed Gaddafi. So that was quite fun.
Brilliant. You can't go to Libya now without it being put on CPOM, so...
No, actually, it's like then, we were told not to go because it was dangerous and this, that and the other. Mohammed actually in Tripoli said, no, it isn't. You can come. So I went and there was no trouble at all. Yeah.
It depends on where you end up, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, don't forget, I was looked after all the time. I got somebody with me. The hotel was sorted out and everything. So just turning up, really. Yeah. So you get things back in other ways like that.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, good evaluation or reflection, I should say.
We've actually been asked to train up a few other members of staff to do this program. Now as well, which in September. So I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, teaching's like any other profession. If you like doing it, it's great. Because if you can have a job and like what you do, you're one of not a very high percentage of people. Most people are in jobs that they don't like.
I know, I love being in schools. I just don't know. I just like it over there.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, you've done an identifying areas for further.
Yeah. I thought at the end of this that I should have added in that I was going to do my level 3 in English as well. But then I'd already sent it, so I didn't bother.
Okay, well, what I'll do is I'll put some remarks onto this now. We had a fairly long session tonight, but at least you know where you are with that one now. It's more or less, there might be a couple of bits to tidy up. I'll send you your assessment back, yeah? And then,
Thank you.
yeah, you'll know exactly where we're up to then, and
Yeah.
we can probably move on to the last 2 units.
Fantastic, thank you. Also, I've not had 11 back. I'm not sure if I need to do anything on that or not.
Just a second, I will close that down now. Hang on. Well, I've saved it actually. So I can close it. Oops, no, wrong one. I'm doing the wrong thing here. Cancel. Close that one. Yes. And close that one. Oh no, I don't. Hang on. Cancel. I need to put that to one side. And then close that. And that. And I can now have a look at offshore DT. It may be that I've not sent it you back, or I've sent it and it hasn't gone. Unit 11, offshore assess complete. Yeah?
So I think you said that your computer went bust that week, so...
Probably that's why I didn't send it. I've got it anyway, it's done and finished.
Yeah.
Don't you worry, that's out of the way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we can carry on from there now. Yeah. So, close that down. You got my horrible face in again now. Okay then, thanks for attending tonight. I hope that's been useful. And I'll see you again next week.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Superb. See you now.
Thanks.
Bye. Bye.